Julie Roginski is a Democratic strategist. Guy Benson is political editor for townhall.com. Both are Fox News contributors. Welcome to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning. You know, you got an interesting brew going on here. You have these increasing questions about whether or not Hillary Clinton basically let information that was on her server or in her emails become vulnerable in terms of whether or not anybody could have seen it or used it because she was in charge of keeping that information classified. Now you've got this email that says take off the header, send it non-secure. Some believe that that could be enough for James Comey, the director of the FBI, to say, look, she made that information vulnerable, and he is not one, he's a straight shooter. I mean, he is not a political person. So, Julie, how worrisome is this potentially for Hillary Clinton?
It's a concern. I will say from the minute that these emails came out and the way the server was treated, I never defended it. I never understood it. And I think Democrats need to take a very hard, serious look at the fact that this is a potential vulnerability for our frontrunner. The reality is that she did something that is inexplicable to me and to a lot of other people who otherwise support her policies. But this is always the push and pull with the Clintons. People who support them tend to support them because they support their policies and their agenda politically, not necessarily their personal behavior, and that's a problem for her as she goes into this possibly this general election.
I mean, the belief has always been, Guy, that this administration will not indict her on this, that Loretta Lynch will not go down that road. But James Comey may, if he believes that the law was broken, just based on his past, based on what happened with Ashcroft and the Bush administration. I mean, this is a man who does what he believes is right, based on his record. I mean, that's just what we can see when we look back. Where do you think this is going, Guy?
Well, I go to what we saw yesterday from our own Catherine Herridge and her exclusive report that the FBI has expanded again, now for the second time, their investigation into Hillary Clinton. It's not just mishandling classified materials more than 1,300 times, it looks like. Right. It's not just potential obstruction of justice. They're also now examining whether there's public corruption connected to the Clinton Foundation. So as this continues to swell and grow and bubble to the surface, just reading that report from Catherine Herridge yesterday, there's a sense within the FBI, within intelligence circles, that there will be a demand that a criminal referral be acted upon by the Department of Justice. And if the Obama administration decides, in spite of ample evidence, that they're not going to pursue criminal charges and a criminal prosecution because of political considerations, I think there will be an avalanche of leaks and recriminations from whistleblowers that will be extremely damaging both to the Obama administration and to the Clinton campaign. This would keep me up at night if I were on the Clinton campaign.
I mean, there's all this talk about, Bill Clinton's past, and when you look at what is going on here, it appears to be something that, as you point out, Guy, would keep most people up at night a little bit more than the other stuff. So then you couple that, Julie, with the emergence of Joe Biden saying in one interview, I regret it every day that I decided not to run. Then in another interview, he basically says, Bernie's really sort of more in touch with what the American people are feeling when it comes to income inequality than Hillary. That hasn't been her focus. It's her focus now, maybe more so. What do you see in these tea leaves, Julie?
Well, I see the fact that Joe Biden says he regrets not running as the regrets of a man who's obviously thought he could be president since the day he got into the Senate in 1979. All these people, every senator on the planet thinks they could be president. Frankly, every dog catcher on the planet thinks they could be president. You run for office, you think you become qualified to be president. I will say that I think Biden made the right decision for his family, as he repeatedly said in that same interview. It's obvious that there is no love lost between Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. He has taken every opportunity since announcing that he's not running to get these little tweaks in, and it's pretty apparent to me that he's not somebody who's going to come out for her anytime soon. I suspect if she's the nominee, he'll campaign for her, but he's not making it easy for her to get his support. What the reasons behind that are, I think, is between the two of them. I have no idea, but reading the tea leaves, as you said, it's fairly obvious that he's not going to make it easy for her to get his support.
Yeah, I mean, there's even rumblings of Elizabeth Warren, and you don't want to put the cart before the horse here, and really the most important next step is what comes from the FBI investigation. Guy, is there anything else that you see on the horizon in terms of Bernie Sanders or in the Clinton campaign? I mean, obviously this is a tougher campaign than anybody thought it was going to be, right?
Yeah, although it's mostly Hillary's own doing. And, because ultimately, I think Bernie Sanders, he's getting a little bit of a bounce right now, and maybe he could win in a place like New Hampshire and make her life more difficult. I know there's people talking about Bill Clinton and his past. Could that be an issue for her? I think that mostly engenders sympathy for her, actually, except to the extent that she helped with the slandering and shaming of his accusers. There's something there. But overall, I think the eye on the ball for the Republicans should be, look at Hillary Clinton's absolutely disastrous record as Secretary of State and look at her enormous credibility problems when it comes to honesty, when it comes to national security and protecting information that she was sworn to help keep secret, and instead she put it on this bootleg, totally unsecure server. She's lied over and over again about the email scheme. I think between that and the Clinton Foundation mess, there's a lot of smoke.
All right, we got to leave it there. Julie and Guy, thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you both.